Hello friends, Aisazia here, and as always, here's another update for my author progress. So, last you guys saw was October 31st, so that's what I have highlighted here. And for November, I have been able to, for the most part, hit my goals in revising for at least 15 minutes a day, except for the November 5th there. I think I was really tired after work and I just wasn't able to meet that day. I just basically was like, I'm taking a break. So, even though I didn't do that much there, I'm still way ahead of schedule in terms of how far ahead I am of my goal for 15 minutes a day. And as you can see, my word count is still growing. And I still expect it to continue to grow. I'm just hoping that I can lessen it once I get beta reader feedback and editor feedback. But, okay, so let's go ahead and just stick on this project, and then I'm jumping to my chart. I just wanted to give you guys a visual of the chart of where I'm at right now. Again, my goal currently is 570 for the November 7th, but obviously I'm at 620. So I think I'm doing pretty good so far there, and I'm glad that I kind of started early. And technically, I probably should revise a little bit more, but honestly, I didn't think that I would be able to do two projects at the same time. I have to admit, it is a bit of a struggle for me because it takes a lot of brain power for me to write and revise at the same time. So, yeah, actually right now I've been doing more creating of ideas in terms of like the bigger plot structures I have for the story, like the issues where I need to solve. So, actually that's kind of working out for me, so I'm not going too much into the nitpickiness of editing yet. I'm just trying to think of the larger picture and try to smooth out those wrinkles. So, in that aspect, working on both projects have been pretty decent. So, flipping over to my other project, Breaking for Nanowrimo. As you can see, I have been actually doing pretty good. Uh, as you can see, I think I was able to write at least something every day. I tried on November 5th to do some writing, and I think I only got one sprint in. And then, like I said, as you can see from my revisions, that November 5th, I didn't do any revisions, so I was able to get one sprint in for that day. But again, I was kind of like a little bit tired and burnt out from work. So I'm still pretty happy that I got some words down, even though I was feeling pretty tired. And then I was really doing good yesterday, actually, so November 6th. I'm recording right now, November 7th. And I was able to hit a lot higher word counts than I usually do, which I'm actually pretty proud of. I don't know how long this will last. As you can see, my target word count of reverse NaNoWriMo is a lot higher, and I haven't been hitting that, but it's still a lot higher than the 1,667 words to hit NaNoWriMo's goal. I'm still okay. I feel like I'm ahead, and again, for my process, I do a lot better in terms of writing a lot at the beginning, and then eventually I kind of fade out. So I fully expect that my words will probably lessen the further I go throughout the month. And again, I gave myself 5 days off in case I'm unable to even continue and for the holidays. But so far so good. I think I'm doing pretty good. Let's see. If I scroll all the way over here, these are the word counts that I should be at for today. So I should be technically at about 24,000 words. Obviously, that's not even close. I'm at 16,000-ish words. But I'm still pretty happy with that word count, considering I'm still working a full-time job and I've got this other side project I'm trying to finish. So yeah, I'm pretty proud. I do want to point out I did update a few things, I think, for this tracker here. I think I had it at like 60,000. I realized that when I was making updates and the numbers weren't adding up correctly. I think this might have been at like 30,000 and that was at 60,000. So I kind of updated that. These numbers may or may not have been right too, but it should be accurate now. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. And also for the sprints here, I've changed this layout slightly as well. So what I did is I added some notes and topics in addition to the word count. So I was trying to track my sprints per day, how many minutes total it was for the total amount of sprints. So for example, this was all for day 1 and it was a total of 1 hour and 30 minutes. And then I wanted to also track what book I was writing, as well as how I was writing. So for instance, I'm kind of doing a mix of both handwriting for my draft and then voice writing or typing for my draft. Let's see. And then I also wanted to track what topic I was writing at the time. And then, of course, the amount of words I wrote for that sprint. And then this over here calculates the total amount of words for that day. So a lot of kind of upfront work in terms of tracking, and I'm not always the best at tracking when I start or stop time. So I'm generally trying to stick with like starting or stopping at an even number, like 35, 45, 40, make it easier math. But I have been kind of jumping around here, like you can see 26 or 57, where I kind of was like, okay, let me just start sort of situation. So yeah, I'm actually pretty proud of this tracker. Over here at the far right that we're scrolling over, I was also tracking the amount of words I started with. I actually have started the first book before with this amount of words, but for Nanowrimo, I started with 0 just to make it easier, so I didn't have to calculate that. And then this is the total amount of words for this whole column, so it will be calculating the total amount of words for me. Let's see. And then this is calculating the total amount of words, including the earlier draft I had prior to Nanowrimo. And then, of course, this column calculates the whole amount of time I spent sprinting and working on the draft. So I think this is, well, for me, who likes kind of tracking and being able to calculate the numbers quickly and easily, this was the best way I could think of to do that for tracking all the minutes and the number of words. I feel like this works for me. And then I can also start seeing like any patterns, like when I do my best writing. So I think, not that I really love being an evening writer, I just seem to be, I produce more words in the evening, it looks like, more or less. Also, I found out that when I use voice to text, I write a lot more. To be fair, a lot of it is also kind of brainstorming. I've just been mostly brainstorming my series in general. So this is one specific draft, which is why I have this column F, which book I'm working on. So I wanted to start trying to plot at least a summary and branch out from there of the books that I'll be writing. So I worked on these days on book 2 for like the rough, beginning, middle, end, the 3 act structure, and try to brainstorm the world building and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I've been doing rather than actually drafting words. I think for the first couple days, like here, like where I have specific characters talking, like what is happening, I was drafting, but for like this information, I was doing more brainstorming and trying to ask myself questions and what I wanted to happen with that world. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. This ended up being a lot longer than I expected, and I hope that what I said made sense. I have the rest of this planned out for the rest of the month, so hopefully I won't need all of them, but it's there if I need it, and I kind of like the rainbow effect there. I've been tracking the colors by day. That helps me break them up. As you can see, I only got one sprint here done for November 5th. But yeah, let me know how you guys are tracking your words. Or is this too complicated? Not complicated enough? Like, is this helpful? Oh, I also wanted to jump over to the chart I have here. So this was a little tricky for me in terms of trying to figure out what I wanted. So the green here is actually the total word count of what I wrote for Nano. The purple here is the amount of words I wrote for that day. Then this gray here, this gray little arc, is the amount of words I should have. That was my target goal. Then this gold little area chart is the target amount of word count, the target word count I wanted for that specific day. So you can see I have not been hitting like 4,000 words for day 1, and I haven't been meeting my total word count goals for the overall word count, but that's okay. I kind of like it still. It lets me see that, hey, I'm still making progress even if I haven't reached that goal. I'll get there slowly. I think at one point I'll hit that, crossover point, especially at the rate I've been writing or voice writing. It still counts. I'm still counting all those words, even though it's a mess, but it's good because this is actually what I wanted to do for Preptober, but I never got around to it, and I just couldn't think of things to write about. This is exactly what I needed to do. So even though this isn't like words that will go into my manuscript, I'm still pretty glad that I'm spending time and brainstorming, and I'm actually gaining a lot of ideas for my story in which I hadn't thought of before. So I'm pretty excited that the ideas are starting to flow, and hopefully it will continue to flow for the rest of the month. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I know it's only the first week, but it's a good first week so far for me, and hoping that the next week will be just as good, because I usually tend to not disengage, but have less interest and motivation. Like, I get stuck in that second week, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that ideas will still continue to flow for me, and I'll continue to be inspired. But yeah, I will keep on using this method until it doesn't work out for me anymore. But I'm not sure I will continue this after the end of November. We'll see, but this does require a lot more brain power for me in terms of working on 2 projects. And as much as I really want to, finish this project, or at least have enough ideas to give me a good idea of where to start, I also still really want to finish my revisions for my one project so that I can fully immerse myself into this series, which I'm working on. So yeah, that's where I'm at, and I hope this is interesting. Tell me where you guys are at for Nano. Are you ahead? Are you behind? That's totally okay. I'm usually never this far ahead for Nano, so honestly, I'm surprised. To be fair, I think in the past few years, I've been like really exhausted from work, so I think maybe 1 year I even skipped, or I just like start Nano and then I just fade out after a week or two. But so far so good, and I feel pretty strong and motivated, and I hope it stays that way for me. And I hope you guys are still motivated and inspired to work on your projects. I know life is pretty crazy, and with actually daylight savings time changed today, so things will probably need to be adjusted for life in general. But I'm happy to share this information with you, and I hope this is kind of helpful and hopefully maybe a little bit inspiring as well. All right. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe and comment. Let me know how you guys are doing, what your projects are. And again, if you guys want to be friends, I'll leave my information below and add you if yeah, I'm pretty much on there every day updating my word count. So if not, just, be patient with me and I'll add you when I can. Okay. I will talk to you guys later and see you guys next week. Thanks. Happy Nano.